broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. This is Stéphane Derras, a pre-sales director at Rakuten Aquafadas. And I'm very glad to be with you today with this new webinar where we will describe the main and key successful steps to build your own mobile apps and to penetrate the mobile apps domain, thanks to a brand new white paper that we released recently on our website. First of all, this session is recorded, so you will receive after this presentation a link to review and replay this video recording and share it with whoever you want. Just as a reminder, you can find previous webinars series recordings on our YouTube channels at Rakuten Aquafadas, as well as many other demonstrations, use cases, case studies, and other marketing nice materials. As well, you will receive slides, all the slides in PDF format, so you don't need to take notes about the slides you see, except your own notes, for sure. So we will be together for less than half an hour, where I will extract for you the main milestones that we achieved with this new white paper. We will finish with a very quick view of our mobile apps, which are good examples of what is good for success and what is not good for success as well. And finally, your questions and my answers at the end of this session. If you have any issue, technical issue, sound or video, please let me know through the questions pane in your GoToWebinar pane on the right side. So that's the only way for you to interact with me through the questions pane of the GoToWebinar control panel. If I don't get any remark, that sounds like you can hear me well and see my screen properly. If not, please let me know. So let's start with this presentation. I have just a very few slides to show you the milestones. First of all, the white paper itself is available, as I told you, on our website, so aquafadas.com. Then you can, after a quick form fill in, you can get it. Here is the white paper itself. So you have about 12 pages where you will get a bit more details than this session. So I encourage you to download this white paper after that session to get more details than the ones I'll be showing you now. So regarding these key milestones, remember that today's world is a very agile and mobile world, and you need to provide mobility efficiency, mobility tools, access to your employees, to your customers, to your partners. And this is where mobile apps are becoming more and more important, even if some people are saying that it will be dead soon. We have more apps than ever, and the Gartner pronostics shows that next year will be a very big demanding year for mobile apps, and there will be even more mobile apps demands than the current number of mobile developers in the world. So that's a key trend about providing mobile apps. We'll see in different formats and flavors. In order to achieve a successful project in this mobility domain, first of all, we will see that you need to define and planify, schedule properly your project, mobility project. Then you need also to plan the same way the content, availability, creation, ingestion in these apps. The content is key for sure in such applications. Oops, quick restart from my PowerPoint and we'll be back. Okay. All right. That happens sometimes as well. Okay. So let's go back to the summary. Third one will be about how are you going to develop such mobile apps. Fourth way is about engaging your users' audience. Finally, maintaining as well the app, the content, and your audience. And for this purpose, you will need to measure your app efficiency, your content, as well accessibility and consuming capabilities, the adaptation you need to provide. And we will have a quick look about the innovations that Rakuten and Rakuten Aquafadas are going to provide to you very soon in our roadmap, because it's important to see that we'll keep innovation as a fast pace. Last but not the least, I will show you again a quick demo about some of the apps, mobile apps that we use ourselves in the field and what are the good let's say, good advantages and also the weaknesses to avoid. So let's start with the very first milestone. Let me check first of all that you can hear me well and see me well, so I don't see any comment or remark, so I presume that you can follow me still properly. So the very first step is to naturally define your project. When you want to enter the mobile world, maybe you are already there for sure, but we are speaking more about providing now mobile agility to your mobile users, about marketing content, sales content, HR content, internal communications, as well as external communications. In fact, all about the representation and publishing aspects of your company, which can go through mobile apps, which is our core capability, as you maybe know from us. So you need to define your project because for sure you can do a lot of things when you want to develop a mobile app. So you need first of all to target your audience. So what business pain points are you trying to solve? Typical question, but you need to ask yourself about that question. Which solution and value added proposal are you going to provide to solve these business pain points? For which audience as well? So I can show you all the questions, the main questions you have to ask yourself. Which audience? So you are not targeting an external customer the same way you'll be targeting your internal customers like employees. Which mobile devices are you going to address with your mobile applications and content? And I would say at the end, it's mainly what are your user needs? What is the added value again you'll be providing to them? And some of the questions, like not only the target audience, not only the targeted devices, but also are you going to monetize your app, your content, both or none of them? How is it going to impact your revenues with such an app, which is not only now a communication app or a marketing app or a sales app, but which is really becoming, as said by many consultants for the future, which is really seen now as a real product on its own. All of that is key to again succeed in your project. You have to define it very precisely. So you have to build it as a real project, like many other computer science, IT projects, marketing projects, sales projects. You have to build this. Some examples of let's say main solutions that our customers are getting for our technologies. You can address, for instance, your sales staff and forces with sales enablement apps, providing them with the latest marketing content materials, with up-to-date materials all the time, but which are also available offline when they don't get access to internet, which is still occurring many times in our today's changing world. You need also to provide attracting, engaging content for your users first, for the customers of your users, like again says staff, but also when you address employees, so internal customers, you can provide B2E solutions like onboarding solutions, training solutions, internal communication solutions. You can provide a lot of technical security, safety documentation in a very easy way at the palm of the hands of your users through such solutions. Keep in mind as well that at the end of the day, your user will be happy to get the content he needs if he gets access in an easy way to that content, as a very up-to-date version of that content, and that is available both on his mobile smartphone, on his tablet, on his computer, on a web browser. So you need to think about all these variations of support devices, content, ratios, orientations as well, and the services as well you'll need to provide in addition to just the content. We'll see that in a minute. So let's get now to the content itself, because the app is just a shelf, a vehicle for the content and services you're going to provide to your mobile users. So you need to be as clearly defined for your content as you did for the app. The app, you'll need to define the navigation, the interface, the services, the content architecture. But once you get all of that, you need to define now really the content you're going to push through this new mobile channel. And remember that content for mobile users can be created from scratch or can be reused from your legacy content. If you're going to digitalize your printed documents, paper documents, or repurpose your existing content and assets, in that case, we really recommend that you conduct a content audit so that you analyze deeply the content you already have. And you eliminate the content which is not needed anymore, the obsolete content, but you also cut big parts of the content which are not really necessary when, again, your end user or reader or client is in the field. And you should always try to put yourself in your clients or end user shoes and estimate what is really needed, when and how. This is critical again to push the right content to these mobile users. When it comes to new content, you need again to think about your project as a global context. And what do you really want to address as, again, a business pain point? What do you want to provide as a value added proposal? Remember the first slide and first milestone. And keep that in mind when you design your new content, when you create your new content. Does it fit with the aims of your app, your project, your organization? Does it offer the value you wanted to bring to your customers, consumers, the staff who is going to use that mobile application after that? You should try the content, the application with a pilot team, and do that before you release and publish the final production app and content. And also, as I said before, the apps and the content could be really considered as real products on their own. So that means you can also try to monetize them, even if it brings indirect revenues, even if you add additional advertising revenues on top of it. This is now really becoming a line of business on its own. So again, and this is key because the app is one thing, but the content is even more important. You really need to create and bring valuable, relevant, personalized, and consistent content to your end users and readers in order to, first of all, give them what they need. Second of all, attract them. And third of all, maintain their audience so that they come back to it for an update of this content, or as well as new content you'll be pushing through this new channel. So this is really key to think about the content and really think about the content architecture that you already have or the future one you need to design. And once you design the app, the content, the services, all of that stuff, there is one key message to keep as well as a background reminder all the time you build something for mobile users. This is about user experience. You really need to provide a nice and very efficient user experience, even more when you are on a mobile device. You know that you're using it all day long, and you need to provide that, because we know that if a user is not satisfied with the very first experience he's doing on a mobile device and a specific app, he will immediately reject the app and will never use it again, even trash it if necessary. So the very first user experience is even more critical than the rest of the user experience. Keep that in mind. This is why at Rakuten Aquafadas, we always focused on a nice user interface, a nice user experience, whatever content you are reading and consuming, because we provide a lot of ways to digest, to ingest, and create content for mobile apps. One of them is to push your legacy PDF. Another one is to use our brand new HTML5 responsive web editor. Another way is also to design very rich haute couture rendering content with our plugin to Adobe InDesign, which is, by the way, which has been released in the latest edition of Adobe InDesign 2018 for your information. And this is key because, again, we provide the right user experience for the right content you are consuming at the right time on the right device, because this is not the same, absolutely not the same user experience between a desktop, a laptop computer, or a tablet, a mobile phone. And we are even envisioning future devices as well coming up, like watches, like TV, connected TV screens, and whatever. And content is not the only way as well to attract your users. You need as well to provide them with additional services, because when you're sales guys in the field and you're using, and when you're using your mobile apps for your presentations, marketing, sales presentations, for instance, in a sales enablement app, maybe you need to interact as well with your staff in a company, with a support team, maybe with a marketing team, or the administration team as well, or your own customers and partners. And for that purpose, you always need collaboration tools and collaborative ways to interact. This is why at Rakuten, we already start to work with companies like Viber, which is a business unit of Rakuten, for the creation of users communities around your apps and content, which is a good way to unify your users and readers and clients in the same public chat channel, for instance. We also provide for a partner company, which is named CafeX, collaboration tools like conferencing tools, like sharing tools, annotation tools for anything you need to share in the field. We also provide third-party content if needed. You know that at Rakuten we have business units like Rakuten TV providing movies, TV series, but also we have Kobo providing ebooks, audiobooks, and we can provide such alternative content for your users, maybe more like a reward. Because one way we see, which is working quite well at the companies we work with, is to incentive your users when they want to, when you want them to use your mobile apps. You know how difficult it is sometimes to push some marketing tools to sales guys, for instance, like me. If you push these nice tools with a nice user experience, with the right content in a very rich and attracting mobile app, this is a good first step. But if you provide them with some rewards, like capabilities to win some points, like the Rakuten Super Points that we provide at Rakuten Groups, then these guys can use these points for their own private time to watch TV, to watch movies, TV series, but also read ebooks and listen for ebooks. So that's a kind of extended services and content that we would be able to provide to you if you're interested in. Also, fintech services, so financial and financial services are key because we said it before, you can monetize your app, your content, but also monetize much more services. You know that at Rakuten we have a lot of marketplaces, we work a lot with merchants, and we already provide fintech services to these merchants. And we want to extend it to you now and provide you with a capability to use such fintech services in the future, like e-payment facilities, paywalls, but also credit cards and much more financial services, which would be useful in your mobile project. So when it comes to the third milestone, you need to finally develop your app. And for that purpose, you will need to ask yourself two main questions. Are you going to develop this app in-house because you already have maybe a mobile development team? You maybe already have the mobile skills to do that in-house. Will you do that outsourced with an external company or through a platform to help you build rapidly mobile apps like our platform, which is a mobile app development platform, or a combination of the three? The only thing you need to keep in mind is key criteria like time and budget. For sure, you can develop it in-house if you have the good skills. But are they available now if you want to start your project immediately and release it very fast? If you want to outsource this, you need some delay to identify the proper company, the proper partner, and also get his availabilities. And also that will become a cost issue for sure at some point. If you use a mobile app development platform like us, you can create very fast your own app. For instance, some of our customers created their own apps in less than 3 weeks and submitted it to stores like Apple iTunes or Google Play stores in less than a month, which is a very aggressive and fast timing. And you can use a combination of the three. Again, remember that after defining your project, your content architecture, and the services you want to build within your app, you will need to identify the budget, the timing, the planning issues around these different ways to develop your app. You need to identify, we said it before, but this is quite key as well. When you identify the first question, you need to identify the second one because it will help you as well to say, am I ready to develop that in-house or with a partner I already have, or the mobile app development platform that I already have as well? Does it, for instance, does it suit for all mobile operating systems? Can you develop this app for Android, iOS, Windows, but also macOS and web browsers with the same platform, the same environment, without redeveloping or extending your development when it comes to these channels? So let's talk about the future now. You probably heard about progressive web apps. So we wanted to update you on that because at Rakuten Aquafadas, we are anticipating that big mutation, that big move, which is already occurring now. Progressive web apps, as you probably know, are seen as probably the future of mobile apps. This is in between native apps, like the ones we help you to create and deploy as of today with our tools, and web apps, and we also help you to create such web apps. This is in between because this is in fact apps which you don't need to deploy through stores. So you don't need to submit it to Apple or Google or both and then get it on the stores so that all the users in the world will be able to install and deploy it on their devices. In that case, a simple URL on your website will be enough to deploy your new app to the devices of your clients. For sure, you won't get the marketing channel of Apple or Google when you don't go to these stores. But in that case, you can still provide and build the native apps. The progressive web apps are more than web apps because they provide offline viewing with a bigger cache. So that means you can download the content and consume it offline, almost exactly like the current capability we provide with our native apps, except that it doesn't go so far as what we provide in native apps yet. So that this is why we keep our native apps so far, because they provide much more capabilities in terms of offline viewing. But progressive web apps are our very first steps for smaller content, a bit less rich content as well that you can provide this way. The main advantage of progressive web apps, in addition to being able to deploy in a very easy way and providing offline viewing, is the capability to handle push notifications, like exactly like the native apps. And you know how key this is to engage your consumers, your readers, or your clients or employees with such a mechanism. So this is available for progressive web apps, as well as the content, which is fully searchable, because the content is built as web pages in HTML code language. So that means it's fully searchable. So it works with all SEO engines on the planet. So you'll get more full text search capabilities on all the content you publish with such progressive web apps in a natural way. And last but not the least, which is something which is not forcefully your concern, this is a single code, a single common code for all platforms. While when you develop for iOS, for instance, you need to develop in Objective-C, Swift languages. When you develop for Android, you need to develop in Java language. When you need to develop for Windows, it's .NET most of the time. So instead of all these specific languages for specific operating systems and platforms, in that case, it's a single language, which is the main standard web language based upon HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. So a single code, which is also giving the capability for web developers to develop apps, which is a good thing. So at Rakuten Aquafadas, we anticipated that move. We changed completely the underneath architecture of our apps to become, first of all, hybrid with a command code, source code, which is already done today, as of today. And we will be notifying you when we are releasing our next generation of apps as progressive web apps before the end of this year for sure. So let's stay tuned and you will know about that. So finally, about the app itself, before we close that webinar, you need, as well as a fourth milestone, to engage your users. And for that purpose, you need to be very careful about the launch of your app. You need to develop some marketing, communications, events around this app launch in order to make it successful, to grab as well as much as users or clients as you want on top of this app. And you will need forcefully to listen to your user base, to your clients, to know exactly what they like, what they don't like, to hear about issues, errors, whatever, to really correct your app and your content along the way, all the time. And you need to provide these marketing tools along the way with advertising, with debriefing, with signage, with whatever communication channels you have internally and externally, depending on the app audience. But keep in mind that an app is a live object as well as a content. And push notifications are an excellent way to keep your users engaged with flagging new content, updates, or brand new content as well. You will need as well, as a fifth milestone, to maintain your app against mobile operating systems updates like iOS updates, Android updates, but also security updates like the recent GDPR compliancy. For instance, we are already at Rakuten and Rakuten Aquafadas, we are already GDPR compliant. So all the apps you build with our tools are GDPR compliant, which is good news for you. So you need to be updating your apps against this security and law issues as well as the mobile operating system new capabilities and much more. So keep that in mind, because when you do your own development, you will have to address all of that, and that comes into the budget and timing issues as well. And to be successful, you need really to track your app deployment, your app availability, your app downloads, as well as the content. How is it consumed? Giving you also insights about the key enrichments which works, the ones which don't work, the content which is not read at all, or the content which is best of class, best of breed content. This way, if you keep tracking your app and content all along the way, it has to be a live and evolutive content and app. If not, it will be a failure at the end. If you keep that measurement and tracking, you'll be sure to be successful along several years and not only the first launch of your app. So consider that when you build your app and review anything you want with focus groups, with user surveys, whatever is needed to keep your users engaged. Some of our customers are doing that very efficiently. After launching their app, they are keeping track of KPIs, insights about their apps and content. Last but not the least, let's have a quick look about the future, because at Rakuten, you know that Rakuten is still one of the most innovative group in the world, as ranked by Forbes, ranking under the 26th rank. And so we provide a lot of new research and development innovations through our Rakuten Institute of Technology. And we at Rakuten at Aquafadas are starting to embed and embrace these innovations. First of all, artificial intelligence is going to be used more and more, and in Rakuten Aquafadas tools about content extraction, content intelligence to extract the main concepts about your legacy contents and even help you to rebuild new, modern, responsive, and agile content based on your legacy content, for instance. We also start to use augmented reality because we are at the border between print and web. And so we can really add additional information on top of existing papers, newspapers, magazines, brochures, whatever is printed by using the camera of your smartphone and bringing some nice value-added information on top of it, as well as virtual reality, which is still lacking, let's say, good use cases, but we are working with our Rakuten Institute of Technology to see how we could use it in the field for you. We also start to implement chatbots to help you to engage with your consumers in a fast and easy way, even if you don't have all the live customer service available. And last but not the least, we have a lot of automation capabilities in our chains. And this is critical as well to deliver the new challenge about marketing content automation, which is occurring today, because you need to provide much more content up to date, live to your audience. So that's it for today. In terms of demonstration, before I get your questions and answer, if you can stay with me just a few more minutes. If not, I would understand that you leave me now. I have just two sample apps that I wanted to show you built with our own tools. The first one is a sales enablement app for our sales staff, which I'm belonging to, where you can see the storefront as a stack of banners that you can define, modify yourself, not being a technical developer, a mobile developer, or technical-oriented person. You can do that with our SaaS platform in an easy way. This way, we, sales staff, can find all our marketing materials in that sales enablement app. That includes PDF legacy materials, as well as rich haute couture content materials, as well as the latest responsive HTML5 content built with our tools. You can add also banners to interconnect with other legacy systems you have, or collaborative tools, as I said before. And this is something you can build by yourself. This app is much more complete, for instance, than the app that is available to all of you through the Apple iTunes Store or Google Play Store, because we provide a Rakuten Aquafadas public app that you can use and deploy yourself on your own mobile devices. And this app is much simpler because it presents Rakuten and Rakuten Aquafadas in 3 different tabs. So you get a presentation built with our plugin to InDesign, which is nice, interactive, and bringing nice animations. We have another one which is available as well for the Rakuten Group ecosystem, if you want to know more about Rakuten and all the services we provide at Rakuten, built again with our plugin to InDesign. You can also ingest PDF legacy documents like this one, page by page, with a nice smart reading experience if you want. And I encourage you to look at our YouTube channel to watch previous webinars where I was explaining that. We also have a 14 minutes long demo video, which is bringing all the nice features we can bring to you. And finally, case studies like this one, which are HTML5 based content, which will work, in many different orientations and sizes, because this is pure responsive content. So again, all of that in a simple app, but keep in mind, it has to be nice, pretty, engaging, attracting, efficient, personalized, and up to date. And last but not the least, bring new content all the time and update your content all the time. So I'm done for this very quick example about nice, engaging content and app. Now let me get your questions. And I got a question which is, I can only see Rakuten TV on App Store. If you didn't find Rakuten Aquafadas, that's not normal. It should be available there. So I think that if you type Rakuten Aquafadas iOS app, you should be able to find it. And here it is. So if it's for iOS, if you want it for Android, you just need to look for on the Android Play Marketplace. So you will find it, and if not, please send me an email or send us an email after this presentation. I don't see any other questions, so I hope that it was clear enough for all of you. And I really thank you for being with us today and staying with us until the end of this webinar, even with 5 minutes more. And again, you will be receiving the recording of this WebEx, GoToWebinar, sorry, as well as the slides in PDF format. Thank you to all of you and have a very good day. Bye-bye.